Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Excuse us for not being here last week. There are tons of scheduling issues. Mike actually participated in an event that we had, and I think GB was unfortunately unable to attend as well. Mike, how did it go?
Went great. I was in Long Beach City College, where you're located, to help people apply for the LA County Economic Opportunity Grant. It is paper intensive. So if those of you who are interested in applying for it, please be sure you have all your appropriate documentation ready to go in digital format to apply for the grant. So why don't you talk a little bit more about the grant?
Sure. Actually, let me pull up. I just had it up. The landing page really quickly. I can share it. It's funny is that it's already on the Get Help page. So 1 second. All right, Mike. So here it is. It's the EOG program, or the Economic Opportunity Grant Program. I will put the link to the URL in the chat, so don't worry about that for now. Just go ahead and take a look at the landing page here. You can see it in front of you. Here are partners. And then you'll see that essentially the grant is put on by LA County. So it's LA County's Economic Opportunity Grant Program, and it is open to eligible micro businesses, small businesses, and nonprofits. You can see the two phases here. Phase 1 is through May 5th, which is next week. And then phase 2 is through May 20th. May 20th completes the entire program. And then if I can, this is again the homepage. So if I continue scrolling, you'll see the formation of businesses here. Nonprofits are able to apply as well. And then if I go up to these tabs here, you can see that there's prepare to apply, get help, and apply now. If you hit this apply now, it'll take you directly to the application. If you hit prepare to apply, you'll be able to see items such as a checklist. So it's a documentation that you should look to prepare when you go to either an in-person session, or if you just are looking to apply for the grant. Eligibility guidelines are very important. So please take a look here. Phase 1, phase 2, small businesses, nonprofits. And then here's a really great list. It's a list of ineligible entities. And if you just scroll down, you'll see it's places like pawn shops, strip clubs, liquor stores, gun or ammunition stores, etc. So
but also cannabis.
Cannabis as well. Is cannabis not listed here? Yeah, cannabis as well. Here it is here. Towards the bottom, it's businesses that generate income through activities performed in violation of state law, or state or federal, law, including the sale, cultivation, or transportation of marijuana. So if you just go to this tab, prepare to apply, you can see all that information there. I go over to get help and scroll, you'll see that we have info sessions. We've got a live support, application guides, and then video tutorials. For the info sessions, you could just click this button and it takes you to a calendar, Mike. So you're able to see all the items or all the events, both in person and webinars related to the EOG grant program. A lot of things have already been happening. Here's the remainder of the month here. And then you'll see that if I click May, we have a ton of things going on through the duration of the program. There is, Mike, an in-person here in Compton. There it is. Here it is.
May 2nd. Okay.
On May 2nd. And then if you, there's also in-person help here in East LA in Spanish. And then if you come over here, you'll see on Wednesdays at 11, Lindustry actually puts on a webinar, and that webinar is where they walk you through the application. So you can actually see what the application looks like, see the answers that are being asked, see things like a persona, type of documents that need to be uploaded. You literally are getting a walkthrough of the application, which we find is extremely helpful. So you know what you're getting into when you go to apply on your own. If I go back though to, again, this is the homepage. I'm sorry, the Get Help tab on our website. You'll see that we have live support. Mike, application support is at this 833 number. It's our call center. You can call in and ask away any kind of questions you have related to the grant. Now, if you've already started the grant application and you've run into an error or there's any kind of issues with your application as it relates to technical difficulties, go ahead and give this tech support phone number a call. It's that 866 number here. Again, I'll put these two numbers as well as the URL to this website in the chat so you guys can have them. Here are those video tutorials, which are super helpful. Tons of topics. They're English and Spanish, as you can see here. And then the application guides, I'm sorry, for English is right here. Now, if I go back home, one last thing, Mike, I wanted to share was that, where is it? Here it is. So if you're on the landing page, you'll see that where the cursor is, it says English. If I click that arrow, this website can translate into 14 different languages. Yeah. So go ahead and choose the language that you are looking for, and it'll translate it, as you can see here now.
Terrific.
If you're looking to go back to English, just scroll on up and select English, and there you go. So, Mike, let me go ahead and do our intro.
Well, before you do that, we already have a question. Ian wants to know. He's a sole proprietor, started in 2020, doesn't have a DBA or business license. Can you get one now and still qualify? Well, depends on which one you're applying for. For phase one, right, you had to be in existence as of 2019. But phase two, I think 2020 is okay, so long as you have a business license, so you can apply for one, and you have your tax return.
Yeah, tax returns are going to be the
tax returns are huge, right? And DBAs are not necessary if you're doing business in your own name. If you're doing business in a name other than your own, you are required by state law to file a DBA, otherwise known as an FBN, fictitious business name, with the County of Los Angeles. Bottom line is Lendistry in the state of California wants to show that they want you to show that you're working legally, that you have a legally established business in the state of California in the locality that you're at. Can you qualify as a realtor? That one I'm not sure about. I don't know, Lauren. What do you think?
I didn't believe so, but I think Roger should definitely call. I don't think so either. I think brokers are different, but actual realtors cannot. No. But Roger, I think you should definitely call that 866-833 number that I'll put into the chat, and they can answer your question. This also leads me to, if I go back to that, let me stop these. Thanks, Roger. If I click back over to that calendar of events here and go back to April, this is what I wanted to show you, the daily office hours. And so they are daily, Monday through Friday, and you can see them here. They're from 5 to 7. You can, I mean, yeah, you can, you don't have to stay for the duration of the session. You can just pop on, ask your question, and once you have your answers, you can pop off. Some people tend to stay a little bit longer, Mike, just because the questions makes, you know, they want to hear more answers. Right. But go ahead, and if you're not looking to sit through a webinar, go ahead and pop into these daily office hours, and then you can ask your questions there. Let me stop my share, and then I'm going to click over to the intro. These are really good questions, though. I think you guys should definitely give our call center a call.
So let me answer that one question. Qualify if I recently changed my business structure? Yes. So long as you have your tax returns and you can prove it, yes. And attend those sessions that Lauren is referring to, and you'll be able to get this handled. But yes, you will qualify. Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mike. All right, here it is. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lauren Simpson. I am with the Small Business Development Center, or the SBDC, and we are a national program with over 1,000 locations across the country offering no-cost services to local small businesses. Now, our services are at no cost to you because your tax dollars have already taken care of our fees. So for the Los Angeles network, which is the network that we represent, you can see that we have physical locations in Camarillo, Santa Clarita, through Pasadena, over to Laverne, throughout Los Angeles. We're in the South Bay all the way down into Long Beach. Now, I talked about service area. We service the areas or the counties of Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and Ventura. So if you're within any of those counties, please be sure to get in contact with us. You'll for sure want to be able to partake in our services. That said, we offer no cost business advising. And so you're able to meet one-on-one via Zoom or a phone call with one of our business experts. We've got some financial gurus. We've got a social media goddess, and we've got the fantastic Mike. So be sure to get in contact with us so that you can meet one-on-one with an expert that can assist you. We also offer virtual trainings, much like the training that you've joined today.
Thanks, Lauren. Keep in mind, I think there's 200 advisors, and we have a terrific group. They're very experienced, they're senior, very knowledgeable. Take advantage of our services. No cost to you, so you might as well take advantage of it. We have someone with a hand up. Her name is Nancy. Nancy, if you could put your question into the Q&A, and all questions should be in Q&A, that'd be helpful. Okay? Now, we're going to be talking about personas, but not the persona that Lauren referenced. The persona that Lauren referenced has to do with the application for the EOG grant. And what that means is that the industry in the state of California wants to be sure there's no fraud. So they're going to ask you to take a digital image of your license and then take a photo of yourself with your phone or with your laptop to prove that you are who you are, and they're going to want access to your business bank account. So that's a little bit different than what we're going to be talking about today, which is buyer personas. And just before we came on the air, so to speak, I informed Lauren she's going to be helping me out, and I sprang it on her, but she's quite knowledgeable. So buyer personas have to do with marketing. And if you haven't created any buyer personas, if you haven't heard that term, you'll be exposed to it today. And I feel that this is one of the most important things that you can do for your business. Because if you don't know your customers, how are you going to market to them? Let's go from there. So what is a buyer persona? It's a semi-fictional representation of an ideal customer. You base it on research and data about existing potential customers. You want to have a vivid picture of who the customer is, literally a picture, what they do, what their motivations are, what their goals are, what their challenges are, what their frustrations are, what's the demographic, sociographic, firmographic information concerning your ideal client. Now, oftentimes when we speak to owners of businesses, we ask a question. That question is, who is your target audience? And way too many times we get the answer, anyone between 18 and 40, 25 and 40. That is absolutely the wrong answer. You are not Walmart. You're not selling refrigerators to everybody in America, okay? So the idea that you're a mass marketer trying to sell everything to everybody is just flat out wrong. You have to change your mindset. And the way you do this is you define a buyer persona. So think of it as writing a novel and creating characters in a novel, or creating characters for a screenplay or movie. That's what you're doing when you're creating a buyer persona. So the goal is to organize the data concerning your buyers, your clients, your customers, in ways that makes them come alive. It'll be easier for your team or yourself to understand their decision-making process, emphasize with their pain points, offer relevant solutions. That's the definition coming from Adobe. Bottom line is, know your customers. A lot of people think they know their customers, but they really don't, because they haven't taken the time to analyze customer data. They might have Google Analytics attached, but they haven't reviewed it and don't know how to review it. They haven't taken customer surveys. They haven't looked at customer input. They haven't gone through this process. By going through this process, you have a much better understanding of your customers, which then leads to something called customer journey maps, which then leads to marketing strategies and tactics. This is one of the most important things you can do for your business, whether it's B2B, B2C, or B2G. B2G is business to government. okay? So rationale for creating buyer personas, you should at least have 2 or 3, okay? Because you want to understand what your customers are thinking and feeling, what they're concerned about, what their hopes are, what their expectations are, what they're planning, what their beliefs are. Fortune 500 companies will spend lots of money with marketing agencies to create 50 to 100 to 200 buyer personas. And their marketing strategies and tactics are all geared towards these personas. Well, you don't need 100, you don't need 200, but you should at least have 2 or 3 or more, depending on what you're doing. Anything to add to this thus far, Lauren?
No, I think you're spot on. I don't think you can say it enough how important it is to have a buyer persona. And like you mentioned, having a few definitely will be helpful.
Thank you. So we're going to move from here.
Oh, Mike, I did want to add, it's going to take some testing too, right? So you've done the research, you know your product, you've created a few, and then you might phase one out and bring in another. You might make some adjustments, and that's okay. That's how it should be.
Right. I agree with you. A lot of people haven't even started the first step,
yes,
which is a great one. Okay. But it will change over time depending on your customers.
Right.
Right. So let's talk about buyer personalities. This is based upon Carl Jung's work on personalities. And so this has been kind of structured in a particular way. So I realize we're multidimensional, but when it comes to creating buyer personas, you should understand these types of personalities. So there's the analytical / rational personality, okay? There's the controller / guardian. We're going to be talking a little bit more about these personality types, okay? There's the amiable personality type, and then there's the enthusiast, idealistic personality type. If you can identify your buyer persona personality type, it makes it easier for you to determine your marketing strategies and tactics. So what you want to do is create at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 personality buyer personas and identify the key personality type associated with those buyer personas. So let's go a little bit deeper into the descriptions concerning these personality types. If you do research on Google, you'll find them described in different ways. So the first type we're going to be looking at is something called the controller. Now, from an accounting perspective, I have been a controller. I've been a CFO, have my own business now. So what do controllers do? They are concerned about the controls within the business. That's not what we're talking about, okay? What we're talking about here is somebody who's all about the roles and responsibilities. I have a typo there, I understand that, okay? They color within the boxes. They're rule bound, okay? They're guardians. So police officers are guardians. If you're selling to police officers, law enforcement personnel, you have to keep in mind that that's their personality, okay? Then there's the analytical / rational personality types. They're pragmatic, they're efficient. They want to focus on meeting objectives, and they have a structured approach. They're going to do the pro-con analysis, okay? That's what they're about. Then there's the artisans, they're amiable. They like to bend the rules, okay? They do whatever works. They look possibly for an effective and quick payoff, okay? And then there's the enthusiasts, the idealists, they're dreamers. They have strong personal code of ethics and want to always act in good conscience. Now, I do realize there's far more personality types than this, but this is what has been boiled down to in the marketing world, okay? So the question is, here is a description in graphic form regarding these personality types. Sometimes they're described in different ways. So here's the analytical personality type. Task focused, fact oriented, problem solver, organized, avoids group work, sometimes overcritical, cautious, likes to be right, okay? Then there's the driving one, the guardian one, the controlling type, okay? Competitive, wants to be in charge, acts fast, plans carefully, decisive, results oriented, doesn't like inefficiency, impatient. Okay. And you may recognize yourself in these types. I certainly do. Okay. Then there's the amiable person, who is social, enjoys relationships, good at listening, wants to be respected, doesn't like conflict, likes security, slow decision making, prefers to follow, not a leader. Okay. Fears change. And then there's the expressive, intuitive, creative, idealist type. Okay. Outgoing, interact well with others, they're persuasive, fears being ignored, dislikes routine, easily exaggerates. If you look at these types, then you're going to have a sense of how to possibly approach these personality types. Which brings us to this. So with regards to the guardian, the driving, the competitive type of personality type, you approach them differently than everybody else. You want to provide detailed information about your product and tools to compare with other solutions. You need to gain their trust by showing that your product or service, et cetera, is safe to use. With the analytical, rational types, you want to prove that your product is best. That's me, okay? Rationals are searching for the most effective solution. They like tools to compare and see benefits, and you can't be pushing them. I don't like pushing them, okay? Then there's the idealists. They want to be sure that your product or service is quick and easy to use. Everything needs to be visual. So in that case, you want to use high quality images with short descriptions and clear calls to action. Personal service is also important to those who are idealists, artisans, amiable. I'm sorry, artisans and amiable versus idealists. Now with idealists, still need to prove your product is worth trustworthy. But remember, they have a strong personal code of ethics that they demonstrate consistently. So you want to be sure that your company's values are in line with their values and show how your product helps other people and creates personal communication. Lauren, anything to add to what I've just described?
No.
Okay. So now we're going to move into how to construct a buyer persona. Now, before we do this, I'm going to be curious. Please put in the Q&A whether or not you have done so. I really like to know who has actually taken the steps to create these personas. So you have demographic, psychographic, sociographic, and firmographic research. Firmographic is information about the businesses if it's a B2B persona, okay? You can, Lauren said, you can conduct surveys. You can review digital data. So if you have a website, you should connect Google Analytics to your website. If you don't know how to do that, contact us and make an appointment. If you have a Facebook page for your business, understand your analytics. We have lots of people that can help you through this process. And as you go through your analytics, you'll be able to see demographic, sociographic information, okay? There are certainly studies you can buy, industry and market studies. You can engage a marketing agency to conduct the study, certainly if you want to go through that expense. You want to identify the customer's motivations and pain points. By the way, there's now artificial intelligence, I don't know if you know this, Lauren, that will grab the Google Analytics and automatically construct the personas now. Which I thought was pretty cool. So you want to put yourself in the shoes of your customers. Maybe you don't have enough data, but try to put yourself in the shoes of your customers and clients. Understand their perspective. Understand their challenges, goals, motivations, etc. It's going to make it easier for you to relate to them. Now, when it comes to B2B, this question comes up all the time. But who do I deal with B2B? Who do I create it for? It's for the decision maker that is going to be important for your business. So you construct your persona around the decision maker. So what's their background? So what's the political issues they're dealing with within their business? Who do they report to? How many people do they know? What's their career goal, right? What is their departmental goal? How are they measured on their performance? Who do they manage? Okay, what's their geography, et cetera? So it's more than just about their personal information. I still want to create information about their own demographics, but you add in information about the business, because you're going to have an ideal avatar for a business. Okay. Now, as we've said, you should at least have 2, 3, or more, depending on how big your business is. And as I mentioned earlier, you're not selling to every household in America. By the way, if you actually are, I don't know that, but the vast majority of people are not selling to every household in America. You are not doing mass marketing. So you narrow the target audience to a tight band that you can actually serve. And that's the way you're going to maximize your marketing dollars. So for B2B, decide on specific industries. Look at their NAICS codes, NAICS codes, and the size of those businesses within those industries. Look at the geography. If you are geographically bound, you're not going to be serving anyone in Alabama, okay? If you have an auto repair shop, you're going to be serving people locally. So you construct your persona around geographic limits, not just income, et cetera. So what I have here is an example of a buyer persona. This is a B2C persona. This is a hypothetical name. It's a hypothetical picture. You know, it's not a real client, but this was constructed. I know this. I know how this was constructed. And I showed you. This was constructed using Expressia. So this is Mrs. Clark Grimes. Okay, she's 37. She lives in New York State, married with 2 children. She has a graduate degree, $150,000. And you can continue to add more fields. You want to know what she's influenced by, right? You want to know, maybe she has siblings. Maybe she came from a single family household, single mother or father household. The more demographic information that you can get, the better off you are. What does her husband do? Okay. What does she like to read? What does she like to watch? What's her hobby? Where does she get her joy? I could ask you, Lauren can ask you 100 questions. This is what a marketing agency would do. And at the end of it, we would create this persona. Of course, if you have analytical data already that you can pull, you want to do it that way. You actually have a bio here. She's a working mom. She wants to buy a new home. You know, her house is too small. Maybe, you know, she has a second kid who wants a bigger space. Okay, we could add more to this bio if we wanted to. Was she born here in California, or did she move here from somewhere else? The more information that you can gather, the better off you are. What school did she go to? What was her degree in? So she has a graduate degree in what? What is she doing for a job, et cetera. So her pain points, house is too small, okay? She wants to find the perfect location. Maybe some of you have faced this, right? She's trying to juggling work, but what this doesn't say is what her job is. That's something I would add in, okay? Doesn't have enough time for home search. And she's concerned about the economics of buying a house, okay? And I think a lot of people are concerned right now, given the interest rates, about buying a house. And many people who bought last year before, they're locked into low interest mortgages. So it's difficult for them to get out of their current mortgages to go seek something else because mortgage rates are so high at this point, right? So what does she expect? She wants to learn from a trusted expert about the best way to invest in her house, okay? She wants to find a perfect house in a similar neighborhood without going through a nightmare. I think all of us can kind of relate to her pain point, right? Now, you can actually assign quotes to these people. I feel it's time for us to find a bigger place, et cetera. She wants more room, and she wants their own kids to come home and stay for Christmas, right? But she already has so much on her plate. What impacts on her buying decision, right? Agency, most of the communications and operations should be carried out online because she doesn't have a lot of time, right? She's not retired. I mean, she's a busy mom with a full load on her plate. So how are you going to communicate with her most effectively? You know, other factors, you know, where's the house located at? Her husband is the biggest influencer, which makes sense, okay? And she reviews the social proof around real estate agents. right? Reviews and social proof around real estate agencies are a deal breaker. So how does she communicate? What does she prefer? Mom influencers, Instagram, blog posts, videos. She likes looking at these various topics like raising kids, how to buy a home, life in New York State. Okay. Anything to say about this buyer persona, Lauren?
No, it's funny because she sounds like friends of mine.
Yeah, maybe you're going through this right now, you know, or maybe friends are. Exactly.
100%.
we can relate to this, right? And then we have, this is a B2B one. Okay, this is a little bit different. Okay, so we have a professional. Her name is Shauna Cummings. Fake name, fake photo. All right. But look at the age. It's specific. You agree, Lauren? It shouldn't be a very broad range. Right? Maybe 35 to 40 is okay, but not 25 to 40. Forget that. That's done and over with. Okay. By the way, if your buyer persona is a child, what do you tell people to do then, Lauren?
I don't know that this is, I don't know that I should be recorded saying this, honestly. I would say look to your, everyone I feel like is on social media. So look at your influencers that have children of that age, especially if you don't have children yourself. But that as you're trying to do like market research related to the person you're trying to sell to, look at who actually is going to be making those purchases, not the kid itself, but their parent. So just looking at those influencers in my past has been helpful before I became a mom, of course.
Exactly. So she's 36. She lives in San Francisco. Okay. Has a bachelor's degree. I'd like to know what she has a bachelor's degree in. So I'd be adding in that data point. Okay. She's a founder and CEO of a small agency. So now we know that maybe her degree is in marketing. It's not identified here, but I would have identified that. I'd like to know what school she went to. Maybe USF. Don't know. I'd like more information. But I understand where they're coming from, right? Is she committed, married, single, divorced? Okay. Is she living in a house, condo, or apartment? What's her household income? I'd be asking for a lot more data here to construct that fictional character that you could put in the book. By the way, these personas aren't listing out personality types, and I'd be adding that in. So what's her bio? She's career-oriented. Yeah, small marketing agency providing digital marketing services. Sound familiar, Lauren? You can relate to this too, right? She's frustrated with clients. Yeah, we get it, don't we? Growing the agency is tough. She's working in her business, not on her business. So we get this a lot. How do I find time to work on my business if I'm working in my business? Well, there's a lot of answers to that. The more help you can bring in, the better off you are. You need to be able to let go control of your business to others. Delegation is important to the right people, okay? And you focus on the most important tasks. Owners do deals, workers do tasks. So at some point, as you're building up your business, you have to be able to let the day-to-day tasks go to people that you trust, okay? Most of the projects managed via spreadsheet and documents. That's quite frequent. That's a common complaint. So one way of helping with this is going out and finding appropriate apps. So you're not dealing with spreadsheets and documents, right? There are more clients and several employees in the agency, but I still feel like she's a solo entrepreneur. So she has brought in some employees, but it could be that she's not delegating enough tasks to those employees. Maybe she hasn't created the handbook. Maybe she hasn't given up in those relationships yet. Okay. We feel this. We get this. We know it. And we can help. Correct, Lauren? If you're feeling this way, talk to us. Okay. So when she's running a small marketing agency, she wants to organize project management. Yeah, exactly. There's project management apps. And there are project managers you can hire on a part-time, full-time basis. Okay. because she's saying the right stuff here. She wants to grow her business and improve productivity. One way of doing that, by the way, I'm going off on tangents, but one way of doing that is creating KPIs, key performance indicators, and you track the important KPIs along the way. And as you track your KPIs, you're going to be more and more focused on the most important tasks for you as an owner. And I won't call them perfunctory, but there are tasks that you can delegate down to like a bookkeeper or a marketing clerk. You don't have to do all the work yourself. Okay. And what we see, Lauren, is people are unwilling to give up control. Now, I'm not saying give over all your control, but give up some of your control. So gains from perhaps she's buying an app or looking at an app. She can see all projects happening in the agency while spending hours in Google Drive. Exactly. Right. Who wants to do that? Maybe the app will help her find bottlenecks in the campaign production process. Right. And unless you delegate project management down, maybe it's a project management. Okay. So what influences her? A free trial option. Well, who hasn't fallen for that? Right. An affordable subscription plan. Absolutely. This all makes sense. Responsive customer support. Yep. Because something goes wrong with that app, who are you going to turn to? Okay. So what's your experience? In knowledge, she started researching different options for automating project management. She knows the main layers, but she's never used a project management tool. So maybe she needs an expert to help her figure out what's the most appropriate for her. If you're in this situation, you can relate to us, talk to us. We can help you. Okay. Let me go down here some more. All right. So that is buyer personas. Before I go to the next topic, I'm going to show you an app. Now, there's lots of apps out there that can help you do this stuff. We happen to have access. I happen to have access to something called Uexpressio. You can have one free persona generated through here and then a customer journey map. I know that those personas were created through this app because I can tell it's just obvious. So with regards to this particular buyer persona, we're actually going to do it live. And I'm going to ask Lauren to help me out. Okay. So consider that I have, and again, you probably heard me before, I like toys. So consider that I have a toy store for kids, you know, small ones in Santa Monica. Okay, so that's the basis we're going on, right? So I decided to create a buyer persona. I gave the name Abby Smith to this persona. She's 28 years old. She's married. She's a paralegal, earning $180,000 a year household income. Her husband is an auto dealer. She has a boy and a girl. One's 5, one's 3. She's in Santa Monica. She likes to cook, sir. She likes to cook. She reads science fiction. Her main channels are Instagram and TikTok. Now, I could all about more there, right? But let's go through this process. Let's decide on a personality type. So, Lauren, you are now Abby Smith. Okay. What do you think your personality type is? Artisan, rational. Can you see?
I would say,
Consider what she does. She's a paralegal. She's living in Santa Monica.
Yeah, so she's rational, but exactly. I wonder, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. You got it. Okay. Now, let's give her a photo, right? So we said she's 28. Okay, so I'm going to make this range between 25 and 35 just to capture enough images. Okay.
Okay.
Now, again, this is one tool. HubSpot has it, and I'm sure you can name others. So I'm not promoting this one particular tool. Okay. And we can get down to specifics like how tall she is, what type of body type does she have, you know, all that type of stuff. But I'm not going to make those selections for hair color and eye color and all that stuff. I'm just going to generate. Okay. So do you see anyone here? And I can click generate and generate. Okay.
Abby looks like she is the second from the left.
This person here?
You said Abby.
Abby Smith.
Abby
Does that
Smith.
make sense? You want me to
What
select
do you
something
guys
else?
think, audience? That's where I venture. 28, Santa Monica, married, paralegal. Did you say children or no?
Yes, 5 and 3, I think. Yes, a boy and a girl. That's important. Remember, it's a toy store we have.
Yeah,
A boy.
TikTok, IG, surfing,
Right.
cooking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's Abby.
All right. So this person and people like her represent how much of her mark of the business? 30%, 20%? How much do you think?
No. Maybe 30, 25, 30.
Yeah, 30%, right? And I like to do lists here. So keep in mind, she has a young family, she's married, lives in Santa Monica, she's paralegal, etc. What do you think her number one goal is?
Home. So the children.
Right. Safety, health and safety for her children, right?
Fair. Mm-hmm.
And family. For her family. Okay, what do you think her number 2 goal is? You are now Abby.
So we did family first, then I would say probably like self-care, keeping healthy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And can you name a third one?
Third, you said she's a paralegal.
The paralegal, yeah,
So I would say her career.
yeah. Increase her income through career.
Mhm.
Right? Makes sense? Okay. If you were to give her a quote, what quote would you say?
Oh.
Just come up with something. Remember, a boy and a girl.
My family's my life.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm going to shortcut some of this to make it a little easier. So she's background, probably a local Southern California native.
Yeah.
Okay. Graduated from a local college, maybe USC. Okay. And you could add more to this. Maybe 2 sisters. Okay. Parents retired, and so on. I mean, if you keep going on, right? Now, what do you think? Now, goals are different than motivation. What is she motivated by?
What motivates her?
Yeah.
I would say her corporate climb motivates her.
Yeah, corporate climb. Right. Can you think of a second motivation?
I keep going back to family.
Yeah,
Would be
family.
a motivation.
Family happiness. Okay. What do you think frustrates her?
Probably, especially as a working mom, probably
Yeah, she's a working mom. Working full time. She's taking care of her husband. She's got 2 little kids who aren't in school yet. What do you think her frustration is?
I would say frustrations would be I don't know how you would phrase it, but just a disrespect for her personal life, needing to leave the office at a certain time.
Yeah, time management.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of people are living this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might be a second frustration. Husband's
Maybe.
Also working. Keep that in mind.
I was gonna say it could be the balance that they're able to maintain, you know.
Work, family balance, okay? Now, where do you think she gets her clothes from? Where does she get her I mean, you can all this stuff here, right? So where does she get her clothes from?
Her clothes?
Yeah, her clothes.
Oh, she's probably like a Gap or J. Crew.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Crew. And where does she get her groceries from?
Her what?
Groceries.
Oh, groceries? You said Santa Monica? Probably like a Gelson's or a Whole Foods. Oh, Trader Joe's, duh.
Yeah. And we can go on and on about the brands. Where does she, what type of car do they drive and so on? Where do they go on vacation? But now that we've done this, you can see how you can create a buyer persona, do this app or any other app. By the way, you can add in skills. So she likes to cook, so I'd be cooking in here and I'd be raising up here, right? She's paralegal, so legal knowledge, she's high on that, okay? See what I'm saying? What type of technology does she use? Well, I don't know which one's Facebook or Android. I'll go Windows here. But I'm not going to Windows, what types of browsers, and so on. We can continue to add to this, or channels of communication, etc. So now you kind of have a sense of how this works, okay? And this is a B2B, we'd be adding in firmographic information, okay? We'll stop that shit. So once you've created the persona, then you do something called a customer journey map. Now, we're not going to have time to fully explore the development of the customer journey map. I think we'll do that next time, Lauren, if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in that app, UXpressia, maybe you can find that and put in the chat room, UXpressia, will help you create customer journey maps and buyer personas. And so will other apps, HubSpot and SEMrush. Okay.
Oh, SEMrush is a good one.
So do you want to explain what customer journey map is?
What now? I'm sorry.
What a customer journey map is.
Customer
journey map. It's on the screen. Okay. So customer journey map is a way of breaking down how a customer client engages with you. And it's tied to a specific persona. So in this case, we have a persona, and that is Joe. This is a summarized version of the persona, okay? He's 32, he's a graphic engineer. He's on his computer all day long, and he needs headphones. I went through this. I had to go through this exact process to get these headphones, okay? And I happened to find this online. Now we can help you construct these customer journey maps for your business, okay? So most customer journey maps will have an awareness stage, a consideration stage. I'll call it an engagement stage. This map is called a purchase stage, an onboarding stage, and an advocacy stage. Think about you making a decision where you're going to go to eat, right? Well, you're going to go through all of these stages, and there's a breakdown of how this all works. So how do you become aware of what's available to you? And I actually went through all of these stages when I bought these headphones. So ask friends and coworkers, right? How do you become aware what's available to you? Search for best headphones. Yep, did that. Now, it's depending upon your customer and how they engage with you, it will be different. Their awareness may not come from asking friends and coworkers. It may not come from online. It may come from a magazine ad, okay? And there's emotional states tied to each one of these stages. And in this case, Joe, who's a graphic designer, he's kind of happy that he's going to go ahead and try to find something to solve his problem. For me, when it comes to buying cars, I go from depressed to suicidal. That's going to be my emotional state because I hate buying cars. Some people go from excited to ecstatic. You have to put yourself in the shoes of your customers and clients and to ask them, right? Take the survey. How do you search for this particular product or service, okay? And there's opportunities at each stage that we're going to look for to help. And then you define your marketing strategies and tactics based upon these customer journey maps. So now we're into the consideration stage. In this case, Joe's browsing e-commerce websites. He's comparing several models. He's looking at landing pages. These are the touch points, search bars, category. It's all digital. It doesn't have to be digital. For me, I went through the digital process, but it doesn't have to be because you have broadcast media, social media, you have socialization, you have print media. So you won't know what that is, what the touch points are, until you define and know your customer, okay? And look down here, he was kind of neutral in this particular situation because there's too many steps to get to the desired product. Yeah, I'm sure we've all faced that, right? The boring web layout. So what's the solution here? Build a more effective landing page based upon a banner ad for specific product searches. I am telling you, there's probably nothing more important than knowing your customers and understanding how you interact with them. And this will help you do that, okay? By the way, the stages can be expanded. If you're a contractor, you're gonna have a job walk, you're going to have a bid that you have to put out, then you're going to have to respond to the bid. I mean, the stages aren't limited to what you just see. It could be very significant. We just saw a buyer persona, someone looking for a house. Those stages are going to be extensive. Okay, it just depends upon your business, your industry, and how you engage with your customer and client. Okay, in this case, we have a purchase, so he selects the product, uses a debit card, but it wasn't accepted. Right, chooses a shipping option, and then you have all the digital stuff with card confirmation, might be an error message. These are all touch points, and there's auto confirmation. Now, how's he feeling during the purchase? Well, at one point he's feeling okay because it's going okay, but his debit card was declined, so it's not so okay, right? And what's the pain point? Well, in this case, the checkout page doesn't support our credit cards. Maybe you don't take Venmo. Maybe you don't take PayPal. If you're in this situation, maybe you want to consider adding different forms of payment to help someone with this problem. Okay. In this case, there's a solution. You clarify the checkout page to show accepted options or support more payment methods. Okay. Maybe it's somebody coming into your store and you don't take American Express. I know an American Express is expensive, but if that's what your customers are using, then perhaps you might want to take American Express and charge more for the product or service. Okay. And then we move on to onboarding. So I went through all this. You get the headphones, you unpack them, you try on. You decide to keep me happy. Got the headphones you wanted, right? Then if you like them, these by the way, are Plant Fire headphones, and I'm advocating for them right now. But the advocacy can be done through various ways, and you want to push advocacy, right? You want to incentivize someone to advocate for your product through various means, okay? In this case, the advocacy takes the form of recommending headphones to friends. He's going to give a low rating online because the checkout didn't work out so well, all right? So the touch points of the customer review page, all right? But there was no follow-up about his product satisfaction. And so one possible solution is send out a call to action to review the product and send customer experience survey. Absolutely. And ask for testimonials. Okay. So your customer journey map tied to your buyer personas might be completely different than what you see here. But I want you to understand what one looks like. Lauren, anything that you want to add to what I just said?
No, I think it was super thorough. I did send you a quick note. I just got a message. We've got a webinar, EOG webinar coming on.
Okay, we'll end.
Yeah.
People asking for the recording, let you put into the chat room.
Everyone will receive the recording via Zoom. There will be a email that's sent directly from Zoom. I will go ahead though and add the our YouTube playlist, Mike. I'm gonna put that into the chat right this second, so you guys can have that. It'll eventually be placed there as well. But while you're on our playlist, go ahead and look at the other shows that we've had or sessions we've had. Mike delivers a really good presentation, as you can see.
Thank you, everybody, for your time today. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Mike. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.